Assassin's Creed, the official collection, is a brand new series of scale figurines from the video game series, and an accompanying magazine focused on the character and their place in the Assassin's Creed series. This is a look at issue 1, which is all about Altaïr Ibn-La'Ahad. So this is issue 1, and with every issue what you get is the cardboard background. You also have the figurine, 1/21 scale, and it's hand painted, and you also get the magazine which has details about the character. That's the front, and that's the back, which gives you a preview of upcoming issues and some of the figures ahead. And the characters, some of them are from the games and some of them are from transmedia. Transmedia is the new buzzword for telling a fictional story using multiple media formats. So the AC story, it's not just the Ubisoft games, it's the novelizations and the comics and the movie and the mini animated movies as well. So this series is published by Hachete Partworks Limited under license from Ubisoft, the creators of Assassin's Creed. And the first issue costs just $2.99. And if we take a look, we can see that the second issue will cost £6.99. And then subsequent issues will be £9.99, which is not cheap really. And I was thinking that, you know, maybe 8 figures, 10 figures, it's not that much of an investment. But the series runs for 80 issues. So in total, if you buy every single issue, that's going to cost you approximately £790. A significant investment, so you must really love Assassin's Creed to want to get every single issue. Okay, so let's take a look and open it up now. Remove the tape. Never very good at these things. And here we go. Right. So that's the figure. And glue it on pretty tight. And the magazine itself. Right. So, ooh, okay. So this is the figure. It has a fairly weighty feel. The first thing, we look in the bottom, and you can see it says Assassin's Creed, Altaïr Ibn-La'Ahad, AA 10628. So I'm guessing that that's the number of the actual figure. They have produced at least 10,628, probably more. It feels quite weighty. You have his name, the character name on the bottom. And it's also engraved in and painted in. Looking at Altaïr himself, What's interesting actually is that he has been painted with a darker face skin colour. And this is actually a very good thing because he is meant to be Middle Eastern. His dad is Syrian, and he should reflect, the figure should reflect the ethnicity of the character. And one of the things that wasn't so great about the original Assassin's Creed video game is that the character himself was voiced with an American accent, and it just sounded very strange when everybody else, they did have more Middle Eastern accents, and it stood out, and it was at the time very much criticised. Voice actor Philip Shabazz, an Iranian American, he said that when he went to Ubisoft for the voice casting, he originally did a thicker, more authentic Middle Eastern style accent, and Ubisoft told him to tone it down slightly, which he did, and then he did another version, and they still thought that it was too thick, so he toned it down, and then they ended up making him do an American accent, I guess because Ubisoft felt that is the sort of accent that would appeal most to gamers. But as I said, it was very much criticised because it gives the game a very inauthentic feel, especially as everybody else in the game does have more local fitting accents. So this is a close-up look at the figure. Here you can see Altaïr's face, and you get quite a good look at it. In the game, it is partially obscured because he is wearing the cloak, and you don't really get to see it too closely. But it seems in the game that it is very similar to his descendant, Desmond Miles, who you also play in the original first game. Here you can see his hidden blade, and this is of course what he shoots out from the back from a mechanized device, and it is very good for attacking enemies. You have his sword there, and the dagger at the back, and his throwing knives there. So in terms of how Altaïr is kitted out, yeah, it has all the right weapons, it has the right look. In terms of the paintwork, I mean, I'm not too sure if you can see it there. It's okay, but I wouldn't say it is exemplary. It's good. There is some supplementary information which gives you a bit more detail about how each of the figures are made. And what they say is, there is outstanding precision casting. Based on a wealth of artwork supplied by Ubisoft, the sculptors will first produce a wax model. In collaboration with Ubisoft, this model will be refined through several stages to capture accurately every detail and angle from the original character in order to create a highly detailed master mould for the figurine. Artists will then paint each cast figure with the utmost precision. Here we can see the artist with a considerable amount of Altaïrs in front of her. Each figurine is hand painted to feature incredible details from the game characters, from Ezio Auditore's hidden blades to Haytham Kenway's Grand Master uniform. All the characters' outfits and weaponry are faithfully reproduced. So I imagine for the artists, whoever's painting all of these figures, for the first 2, 10, 20 figures, maybe they put in a lot of effort, but I can imagine after painting say 100, 200, they probably get quite tired of it. And I wonder if maybe they are not quite as precise as with the first ones. Who knows? But it does give you a good insight, a good background into how these figures are produced. And as I said before, with the package, you have the accompanying magazine. It's an illustrated magazine that gives you a background on the character and the lore and the world that they come from and the story of the game that they are actually in. And of course, Altaïr, he is a very special character because he was in the first Assassin's Creed game. The first assassin that was made known to all of us. So let's open this up and take a look. Right. Just move that out of the way. So, the first thing you can tell is you've got the magazine itself, and on the side it has these clips, and these will be used for placing it in the binder, the folder, if you happen to get it. If you subscribe, you will get that free. And it should make it easier to read your issues. Okay, so the official collection, what's it telling us? It tells us that you have the story of a legend, a disgraced prodigy's redemption, so the story behind Altaïr. It has a history of the Assassin's Brotherhood, and it also talks about some of the enemies, the assassination targets. So let's take a look at the first part. Right, we'll take these out and we can have a look at that afterwards. Okay. Let's put this so you can see it a bit better. So here you have a bit of detail about the figure itself. And so it tells us about Altaïr's robes, his eagle vision, his hidden blade, the sword of Altaïr, and also his parkour, the way he speaks, the way he runs. Journeys and challenges. Okay, so this has a little bit of a history about Altaïr, about his father, who was a Muslim man, and his mother, a Christian woman, and the story behind them, and a little bit about eagle vision. Right, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. So, of course, it gives you a bit of a background about each of the significant characters in the game. The Templar targets, the Templars being your enemy. Amuelim, who is your mentor at the time. And Robert Disable, who is one of King Richard's Crusaders. Okay, and then there is some detail about the Leap of Faith. The Leap of Faith is, of course, the signature Assassin's move, where you are able to traverse, to climb a high tower or building, and then leap from a very high distance and land safely. Very unique, very clever move in the games, and I remember pulling off the move when I first played a demo of the original Assassin's Creed game, when I was at a game show in London, and that was at the new Wembley Stadium. So here you have a little bit of detail about the Brotherhood, what they are about, what they stand for, the Codex, and here there is some detail about the hidden blades. Of course, that wonderful weapon. Now you have more information about the Levant. The Levant is a vast area in the Eastern Mediterranean and Middle East, and it covers countries like Turkey, Cyprus, Iraq, Israel, Palestine, all these countries. And there you go. So I will be taking a good read of that. I will be having a good read of that later. Some of the items you receive if you subscribe. 1 free issue, the official collection binder, the Assassin's Creed wallet, the tankard, and the display stand. Now looking at the Assassin's Creed, the official collection, has made me feel quite nostalgic. This November, I believe it will be 10 years, a full decade, since the original game was released. And that really makes me feel quite old. I first experienced the game at a video game show in the UK in London, and it was run by a retailer called Play.com. And it was at Wembley Stadium, the new Wembley Stadium, and I did have a chance to play the first game, Assassin's Creed, there. And I really enjoyed it, although I never bought it for some reason, and it wasn't until later I bought it for the Xbox 360. And as I said, looking at all this, it's made me feel very nostalgic, so I wanted to revisit the game, so I picked up a second-hand copy from a local second-hand dealer called CEX, and this is for the Xbox 360. I actually remembered I've got it as a download for PS3 as well, although the PS3 version doesn't have trophies. Now, if you would like to play the games for yourself, to experience it for yourself, then I would really recommend doing it. Altaïr Ibn-La'Ahad is a great character. I don't think he is the most rounded character, but he's quite iconic because he was the first assassin that we got to play, and he stands out, and it is an epic game. So if you would like to play the games yourself, the games that he appears in are the original Assassin's Creed game, which is available for Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and also on PC, which you can get from Steam. There is also a prequel game which is available for the Nintendo DS. It is called Assassin's Creed Altair's Chronicles. And obviously, as a prequel, it is set before this game. And then there is also a sequel, Assassin's Creed Bloodlines, which is or was available on the old Sony PSP handheld. Now, not many people are likely to have a Sony PSP, but if you do have a PlayStation Vita, it is compatible with the Vita. And it's meant to be quite a fun platforming game set on the island, the Greek island of Cyprus. And also, you get to play briefly Altair in Assassin's Creed Revelations. And even briefly, very briefly, in Assassin's Creed 2, which is Ezio's story. So, that was a comprehensive look at Issue 1. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up button. Issue 2 is focused on my absolute favourite assassin, Ezio Auditore. If you are even half as excited as me and would like to see that, make sure you subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.